Welcome you all to the Sunday Bhagavad-Gita classes. So we are in the chapter 2 of Bhagavad-Gita, and chapter 2 has 4 divisions. What are they? Gita, G stands for Arjuna accepting the Guru, and I stands for identity. Our real identity is we are not the body, we are the soul. And then T stands for two dharma. One is a dharma due to our own constitutional position. According to Varna and Ashrama, we are supposed to do our prescribed duties. Another is Parodharma, that dharma towards the Lord, towards the Supreme Lord. And then A stands for Atma Rama, a person who is Krishna conscious. How does he act? What are the symptoms of a person who is Krishna conscious? How does he speak? How does he sit? How does he talk? How does he behave? So, and we saw in the beginning of the chapter, Arjuna was filled with tears. His eyes was completely filled with tears because he wasn't ready to fight against his own relatives. At this point of time, what did Arjuna do? When he could not take any decisions, so Arjuna surrendered himself to Krishna and accepted him as his spiritual master. So we saw throughout the first chapter, Krishna was only hearing from Arjuna. He did not tell anything to whatever Arjuna said. Only after Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, after Arjuna seeking advice from Krishna, Krishna started advising. So from this, what do we learn? We should only give the advice when it is solicited. So there's no point of giving advice to someone who doesn't solicit. So we are learning from this how Krishna is giving the advice after Arjuna solicited it. And then in the second division, in the beginning, what did Krishna do immediately? Krishna now took the position of a guru. So being a guru, Krishna chastised Arjuna. What did he say? You are talking like a pandita. Actually speaking, you are not a pandita, you are a fool. Because you are lamenting for something that is not worth for. Why it is not worth for? Because the body is temporary. And then in the next sloka, Krishna is talking about the quality of the soul. What is the quality of the soul? Soul, every soul is an individual. Krishna says that all the kings who are present here, they were an individual, they are an individual, and they will remain an individual. And I was an individual, I am an individual, and I will continue to remain. So, therefore, he doesn't have to worry about the change of the body of his grandparents and his relatives. And in the next sloka, Krishna is also giving an analogy. What analogy he gave? Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tata deha antara prapti dhira satrana mukyati. Just like this body changes from youthhood to adulthood to old age, similarly, what happens to the soul at the time of the death? The soul leaves one body and takes another body. It is just the change of body, like we are seeing right now. Our bodies keep on changing. So why are you worrying about the change of the bodies? And Bhishma and Dronacharya, they are noble souls. So such a noble souls, even when they leave the body, where do they go? Where is their destination?
Krishna Loka.
They will either go to spiritual world, at least they will go to higher planets.
Yeah.
Because they are laying the body in the Dharma Yuddha. So anybody who is giving up the body in the Dharma Yuddha, they will attain the heavenly planets, at least Vargaloka. So why does he have to lament? Because they are going to get something that is better. Because in old age, your body is not functioning as good as when you are youth. So he should be happy that they will get better bodies. But what did Arjuna reply for that? Krishna, you are not understanding that I am attached to their current bodies. For that, what did Krishna says? Matra sparshasta kaunteya, shitoshna sukha dukkata, agama apayino anitya tam titishashva bharata. Just like the season changes, as sometimes it is summer, sometimes it is winter, so is the happiness and distress. They keep coming and going. So one should learn to tolerate. Titiksha means tolerate the dualities. And why we need to tolerate the dualities? In the next sloka, Krishna is talking about the eligibility for liberation. How can one become eligible for liberation? Yamhina vyatayantyete purusham purushashaba samadukka sukham dhiram somrittatvaya kalpate. So that person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress, who is coming out of the dualities of happiness and distress. So if you want to come out from the dualities of happiness and distress, how is it possible? You need to develop some tolerance. Is it so easy to go through some distressful situation without any tolerance?
No, Mataji, no.
It is not possible. Therefore, Krishna was talking about tolerance first, because the qualification to become equanimity towards happiness and distress cannot happen without the tolerance. Like there are two roads. One road is looking very beautiful and very nice. Another road, it doesn't look very easy. But of the two roads, if your purpose is towards the road, which is not very beautiful, will you take that road or will you take the other road just because the journey in the other road is beautiful? It may not serve your purpose. What will you do? Which road will you take? The one that serve your purpose or one that just looks beautiful?
The one that serve our purpose.
Yes. But what do we do in this material world? We know the purpose of the human life is to come out of the cycle of repeated birth, death,
But
old age, and disease. And apart from that, we are suffering from Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik, and Adhyatmik kleshas. So, in spite of all these sufferings, sometimes this world is giving us some tidbits of happiness, like some very nice vacations, or some movies, or some restaurants, or some kitty parties, or something like that. And what do? We get carried away by this external features of the world that gives us temporary happiness, and forgetting the real goal of life is to solve the real problems. The birth, death, old age, and disease are our real problems, and that is common for all. I may have one problem, you may have another problem, another person may have another problem. But this four problems, birth, death, old age, and disease, is it not common for each and every one of us?
yes.
So,
Yeah.
therefore, one should use this human form of life to get liberated from the cycle of repeated birth and death. And for that, one needs to develop the tolerance by which one can remain same during the time of happiness as well as the distress. And we saw about the Varnashrama Dharma. So, among all the four ashramas, we saw Sannyasa ashrama is very, very painful. You will not have any bank balance. You just have to live in alms. If you get a good place to stay, you can stay. Otherwise, you have to just sleep wherever you get. If you get food to eat, you can eat. Otherwise, you just have to survive with water or whatever you get. But still, the people who are following the Vedic culture, Varnashrama Dharma, they took this. Why? Because the goal of life is to get liberated. So there is a lot of tolerance level which is exhibited in that particular ashrama especially. And then we also saw the quality of the soul. Another. What did we see? Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sata, ubayorapi drishtontas tvanayo tvattva-darshibi. Tvattva-darshibi means the one who has seen the truth. We saw that there are two types of transcendentalist, personalist and impersonalist. Impersonalist, what do they think? They think that the God does not have a form. And when we get liberated, we also become one with the Lord. We get merged with the Brahman effulgence. And what does a personalist think? Personalist thinks that the God is the personality, supreme personality is Bhagavan himself, and he wants to serve the Lord. But both of them have come to the same conclusion. What is the conclusion? Conclusion is that the
Yeah.
soul
Yes.
is permanent and then the body is temporary. There is no discrepancy in that. In terms of the soul and the body, they are just the same. Okay, so we'll go to today's sloka. Is further, Krishna is talking about the qualities of the soul. Can I just do the screen share? Please repeat after me. Avinashi tu tadvidhi.
अविनाशिते
अविनाशितुतद्विधि
अविनाशितु तद्विधि
Ena sarvamidam tatam.
येन
येन
सर्वमिदं
सर्वम् इदं
ततं
Vinasham avyayasyasya.
विनाशम्
विनाशाव्ययस्यास
अव्ययस्य
Na kaschit kartum arhati.
न
न
कश्चित् कर्तुम्
कर्तुमर्हति
Avinashi tu tadvidhi.
अविनाशितु
अविनाशितु
तद्विधि
तद्विधि
Ena sarvamidam tatam.
येन
येन
सर्वम् इदं
सर्वमिदं
ततं
Vinasham avyayasyasya.
विनाशम् अव्ययस्यास्य
विनाशाव्ययस्यास
Na kaschit kartum arhati.
न
न कश्चित्
कश्चित् कर्तुम्
कर्तुमर्हति
अर्हति.
Would like to do the sloka?
I can do Mataji.
Please, Mataji, please go ahead.
अविनाशी तु तद्विधि
Avinashi tu tadvidhi.
येन सर्वम् इदं ततम्
Ena
येन
sarvamidam tatam.
सर्वमिदं ततं
विनाशम् अव्ययस्यास्य
Vinasham avyayasyasya.
न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति
Na
न
kashit kartum arhasi.
अविनाशी imperishable to but tat that vidhi know it yena by whom sarvam all the body idam this tatam pervaded vinasham destruction avyayasya of the imperishable asya of it na kaschit no one kartum to do arhati is able. Translation: that which pervades the entire body you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul.
Thank you, Mataji. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swamiti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, what is the nature of the soul? From this sloka, we understand the soul is imperishable. Imperishable means nothing can destroy the soul. And what is that pervading the entire body? It is the soul that pervades the entire body. Like, where is the sun located? Very, very far away from the earth. But that sun, which is located very far away, that sunlight is pervading the entire earth by which we are getting the light. So one sun, which is located very far, the sunlight that is emanating from this is pervading the entire earth, which is giving us the light. So soul is like that. Although it is just it is present in the body, it is present in one part of the body in our heart, but its presence is felt all over the body. So suppose we see a dead body. What do we say? Seeing the dead body. We say the person is gone, but his body is there. Why are we saying that the person is gone? What has gone out of him?
So,
The soul has gone out of him, right? So because of that, so if you're pinching a dead body, will the dead body retaliate for that?
no.
But if you're pinching a person who is alive, what will happen to that person? He will feel painful and he will retaliate.
Yes.
Yes.
So what is that which is present, which is pervading all over the body? It is the soul which is present, which is pervading all over the body. So without consciousness, so this consciousness is what? The consciousness is coming from the soul. So without soul, there is no consciousness, right? Even we have seen sometimes there are people who are in coma and they don't have consciousness, but they are still breathing. The soul is there. So this is because the soul is so much attached to the body. The soul is not very easily leaving the body, and such state of body is called coma, where the soul, because of the excessive attachment to the body, the soul is identifying itself with the body and does not want to give up the body. That is why they say even after a person is dead, one should try to do the cremation at the earliest, because the soul tries to comes back to the body. Because of the bodily attachment the soul had for so many years, it is not very easy for the soul to get out of the body. Only when the gross body is not there anymore, then the soul knows that I am not this body and it is gone, and then the soul will continue its journey. So, what is the real nature of the soul? This verse clearly explains the real nature of the soul, which is spread all over the body. Anyone can understand what is spread all over the body. It is the consciousness. Like as I said, if I pinch you, you will feel the pain. Correct? That is the consciousness. How do you say that you're conscious? Even if you're pinching a person who is sleeping, the person will feel the pain. Correct? It may not be the person who is in the wakeful state, but the consciousness is there even in the sleeping stage. Suppose we are taking the medicine. If you're having a back pain and you're taking the medicine, so what would be the impact of this medicine? Will it act throughout the body? If you are having a body pain and you're taking a medicine, so will the medicine will have its impact throughout the body?
Yes.
So like that, the consciousness is the one which is spread all over the body. And the source of consciousness is the soul. Soul is the source of the consciousness. Consciousness. Shilpa Mataji, would you like to read?
Yes, Mataji. Consciousness. Everyone is conscious of the pains and pleasures of the body, in part or as a whole. This spreading of consciousness is limited within one's own body. The pains and the pleasures of one body are unknown to another. Therefore, each and everybody is the embodiment of an individual soul, and the symptoms of the soul presence is perceived as individual consciousness.
So we can see whatever pain that I am undergoing, you may not able to understand, right? Because it is very much an individual. But the supreme consciousness is Krishna, and he can feel the pain and pleasure of each and every living entity. So, what is the source of consciousness? This source of consciousness is the soul. So, we are saying that, okay, with our eyes we see, with our ears we hear. So, when does this eye or the ear function? For the dead body, the eyes is there, the ears is there. But can the eyes and the ears of the dead body function?
No.
No.
Why it doesn't function? Because there is no consciousness, right? The soul left the body, which means there is no consciousness. So the dead body cannot feel that. So if you see that with the eyes we can see, the eyes also can see as long as we are having the consciousness. Without consciousness, there is no function of the eye either. Okay, suppose if we are thinking that consciousness is just a chemical, like something is missing. If you are putting all the chemicals back in the body, can the person come alive?
No.
Can we, anytime have we seen any doctor who brought the dead body alive?
No.
If this body is a function of chemicals, then we should be able to replace the chemicals and get back the body, get back the life, right? Why are we not able to get back the life? The scientists have done so many discoveries, but why still they cannot discover that solution against the death? Right? Some people say, what is the goal of life? Is increasing the, lifespan. Just because you are living for 5 years more or 10 years more, will that suffice all our desires? Do you
We
think
live
today a
more
person who is 80 years old, just because he had lived additional years, he has no desire and he is all ready to leave the body?
Not at all.
Not at all. So if we are just thinking by increasing the life expectancy, we are having a quality life, how can that be true? Nobody wants to die, right? Whether even somebody is 90 years or 100 years, nobody wants to die. Why we don't want to die? Because our real self is, we are the soul. The soul is eternal, whereas the body is temporary. That's why we don't want to die, because that is the very nature of our soul to be eternal. Just because we have accepted this temporary body, we are subjected to repeated birth and death. And we have seen many things like, near death experience. Have you heard? Some people who have undergone a big accident and some people who have undergone the surgery, even though they are put in an unconscious state by using anesthesia, they are able to remember each and everything that happened to them during the surgery. And there are so many instances of near death experience where people have gone beyond the body and they have seen the other side and they have come back. And apart from that, past life experience, we have heard many stories of the people who could remember the past life. So once there was a lady called was a Shukla, and she was a small girl. Since the time she was a small girl, she always takes a pillow and she will cradle that like a baby. And she used to call that baby's name as Minu. And then after some time, she was talking about the place where she lived and her husband's names and in-laws name and everything. So the current family with whom she is born, and taking all the cues from her, they went back to the place, and then they exactly found out she was among some 30-40 people. She was able to recognize her husband in the previous life, the child and her in-laws and everyone. And she died leaving the small baby behind. So that memory was so strong for her. Even after changing her body, she could not forget about the small child that she had. So these are all certain real incidences that has happened, which talk about the past life experience. And even in Bhagavatam, we know that many devotees who could remember the past life. Can you give an example of some devotees who could remember their past life? What about Jada Bharata, Bharat Maharaj? Anybody knows the pastime of Bharat Maharaj?
But the deer,
Yeah, correct.
uh,
Yeah. Bharat Maharaj, he was a very pious king, and he took the retirement and he went to forest to meditate. But during the time, he saw that there was a deer who was carrying a baby, was chased by a tiger. And during the time, the mother deer, she delivered the baby and then she died. So the baby deer was helpless. The baby deer did not have mother. So out of compassion, Bharat Maharaj, he was taking a very good care of the baby deer. He took so much of care to the deer that whatever the regular sadhanas and rituals that he was doing, he became negligent. Even though Bharat Maharaj has left his kingdom, his wife and his children, he got caught by deer out of what quality? Out of compassion, right? The very compassion has become this thing that he became neglectful of his duties. And one day it so happened that the deer left the ashram and the deer did not come for a very long time. So Bharat Maharaj, he went searching the deer, thinking that maybe a tiger must have eaten, a lion must have eaten. So out of attachment towards the deer, he was going, and in that time, during that time, he left his body. And when Bharat Maharaj, when he left his body, because he was always thinking about the deer, in the next life he became a deer. But because of lot of piety, devotional service that he performed, he could still remember his past life. So a deer does not live for many years. So he lived for some time in the body of the deer, and he lived in near a sage ashram so that he will live in a pious environment, and he left the body, and in the following birth he became a Jadabharata in such a way that his behavior was so obnoxious that nobody would like to even come near him. Even he was eating with his left hand. He was, after evacuating, he was not even cleaning. So he looked like, very shabby person, like a mad kind of person that nobody could come near, because he did not want to repeat the mistakes what he did in his previous life. He wanted to remain aloof from the attachment. So after attaining the body of Jadabharata, then he got liberated. So a Narad Muni, he was a maid's servant. First he was a Gandharva and he got cursed because when they were about to welcome the Lord Narayana, Narad Muni, he just got little distracted and he was singing some movie songs, like some Bollywood songs, like without glorifying the Lord. So Indra got angry and then he cursed him to become the maid servant. But when he took the birth of a maid servant, he had an opportunity to serve the Bhaktivedanta saints during the Chaturmas. And because of his association and the service to the Bhaktivedanta saint, in the following lifetime, he became a Devarshi Narad Muni. So we can know about the past lives and everything, even from Bhagavad Mahapuran and from the real experience. Okay, so which shows that the consciousness, the source of consciousness is the soul. So now we are talking about the soul. Many people ask us, have you ever seen the soul? So we will now see why we are not able to see the soul. What is the size of the soul? Who would like to read? Lekha Mataji, would you like to read this? Shilpa Mataji, would you like to read?
Yeah, Mataji,
Size
I'm
of
here.
the
Okay. Please go ahead, Mataji.
Yeah, Shilpa Mataji, please go ahead. I'm sorry.
size of the soul. The soul, this soul is described as 1/10,000th part of the upper portion of the hair point in size. The the
Shvetashvara
Sweta
Upanishad
Vara Upanishad
confirms this.
confirms this. But
आलाग्रशतभागस्य सताद कल्पितस्य च भागो जीवस विज्ञेयथा स चान्यान्यत कल्पते.
when the
Yes, ma'am.
supreme point of a hair
When
is
the upper
divided,
point of the hair,
sorry, uh, sorry. When the upper point of the hair is divided into 100 parts, and again each of such part is further divided into 100 parts, each such part is the measurement of the dimension of the spirit soul. Similarly, the same version is stated.
केशाग्रसतभागस्य सतांश सदृशात्मक जीव सूक्ष्म स्वरूपोऽयं सांकितो हि चित्कन.
There are innumerable particles of spiritual atoms which are measured as 1/10,000th of the upper portion of the hair.
So what is the size of the soul? So if you take the tip of the upper portion of the hair and you cut it into 100 times, and each part that you have cut, you further divide into 100 times. So what do we think? We practically think nothing will exist, right? How big is the tip of the hair? It's already small. So that is the size of our soul. So by which we understand that we are really very, very insignificant. Our real size is, what is our real size? Is 1/10,000th time of the tip of the hair. And with this, how small we are like an anu, like an atom. In spite of that, we are all having so much of ego, thinking that it is me, my, and mine. But our real position is we are really, really very, very small.
Okay.
So this is the size of the soul as given in Shetashvara Upanishad. It is confirming the size. So is there any devices through which we can see such a small particle? Even the chemists, they always talk about atoms, everything, but they also say that atom is invisible. They know something very smallest exists, which is an atom, but what conclusion they have come to? Is it visible or invisible? It is invisible, right? So this soul is also very, very small. So it is very invisible. It is so small that we cannot be able to see the soul. We can only perceive the soul, and by which we can also understand our real position. We are infinitesimal and Bhagavan is infinite. What is the difference between God and us? Like the ocean and the drop of the water in the ocean. Quality wise, it is same, but quantity wise, it is
Different.
very different. A drop of the water in the ocean cannot be compared with the water in the ocean. So similarly, the Bhagavan is Vibhu and we are Anu. That is the difference between the Bhagavan and us, the Jiva and the Supreme God. So consciousness, the symptom of the soul. Can you continue, Mataji?
Yes, Mother. Consciousness, symptom of the soul. Therefore, the individual particle of the spirit soul is a spirit atom smaller than the material atoms, and such atoms are innumerable. This very small spiritual spark is the basic principle of the material body, and the influence of such a spiritual spark is spread all over the body as the influence of the active principle of some medicine spreads throughout the body. This current of the spirit soul is felt all over the body as consciousness, and that is the proof of the presence of the soul. Hare Krishna.
Okay, when you say, do you say I hand or do you say my hand?
My hand.
You say my legs or I leg?
Say mine.
You say I body or my body?
My hand.
So by which, what do you understand? The body is different from the soul. We are not the body. So it is a very consciousness that is pervading and that is supporting us. Without the consciousness, we do not exist. Like the active principle of the medicine spreads throughout the body. So the very consciousness is the one which is spread all over the body, which shows the presence of the soul. Without soul, There is no consciousness. Okay. And what is dead body?
What is the
Continue,
dead?
Mataji. Yeah.
And what is the dead body? Any layman can understand that the material body minus consciousness is the dead body, and this consciousness cannot be revived in the body by any means of material administration. Therefore, consciousness is not due to any amount of material combination, but to the spirit soul.
Like we discussed earlier, if the material body is just made up of chemicals, we should be, by now, with so much of scientific advancement that we have made in this world, shouldn't be able to replace the chemical and bring the body alive. So that shows that this consciousness is not material, it is anti-material. It is beyond the matter. It is spiritual, right? Material means that is matter. Anti-material means that which is not a matter. And what is the dead body means? See, there are three types of consciousness. One is Jagrati, the active consciousness. Like right now, we are awake. When we are awake, we are active. We can feel each and everything that is going around us. Correct? And then in the sleep, when we are dreaming, our consciousness is there, but not as active as we are awake. Correct? In the sleep also, sometimes you may have some incidences. You may feel like, a tiger is chasing you or like that. But that consciousness will not be the same as you're really undergoing. Sometimes a dream can be very like a nightmare and you can wake up, but many dreams are happening, but you may not actually feel that. Right? And the third type of consciousness is subdued consciousness, like a deep sleep. Sometimes when you're sleeping, you go on a deep sleep where our consciousness is subdued. You neither dream or you're active, you are subdued consciousness. So this death is also a subdued consciousness where you are sleeping for 7 months. So if a person dies, so from the time the person dies and takes another body, he transmigrates to another body, there is a period of 7 months where the consciousness is in the subdued manner. And that is called the death. Even in the pregnancy, are we not seeing that when the baby is born, after 7 months, the consciousness is developed and there are more chances for the baby to survive? Correct? Have you seen the babies who are born in 5 months, 6 months surviving?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
No, right? So similarly, so this death means a deep sleep for 7 months. That is called the death. So the soul leaves one body and then takes the another body. And so the soul is actually cannot be destroyed, cannot be perishable, but the consciousness is subdued. And what is that which is taking us to another body? Remember, we have read about 3 types of body. What are the 3 types of body? Gross body, subtle body, and the soul. So what is the subtle body made up of? Intelligence, mind, and false ego. So as long as our mind is not purified, because the mind is having so many desires, when our mind is contaminated, we forget our real position, and then we are trying to get the happiness through the material world, forgetting our real position that we are the servants of Krishna. And what is the intelligence? Intelligence is the one which discriminates. What does our intelligence helps us to do? To discriminate. So when the intelligence is materially contaminated, and ego, what does our real ego? Our real ego is we are not the body, we are the soul, and we are the servants of the soul. What is a false ego? The false ego means we think that we are the doers. Krishna says in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Prakrite kriya manani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. Out of ahankara, out of false ego, a vimudatma, a foolish person, thinks that he is the doer. So our false ego means we think that we are the doers. So as long as our mind is not purified, our intelligence is not purified, our ego does not become the real ego, we remain, our subtle body remains with us, because of which we will take another body. So the subtle body is the one which takes us from one body to another body. And what is the medium for that? The medium for that we will study further. Where is the soul located in the body? Mataji, continue.
Yes, Mataji. Where is the soul located in the body? In the Mundaka Upanishad, the measurements of the atom spirit soul is further explained.
एतोनुर आत्मचेतस्य वेदितव्यो यस्मिन् प्राणपञ्चाद संविवेश प्राणेश्चित्तं सर्वम् ओतं प्रजानां यस्मिन् विशुद्धे विभवस्येष आत्मा.
The soul is atomic in size and can be perceived by perfect intelligence. This atomic soul is floating in the 5 kinds of air: prana, apana, yana, samana, and udana. Is situated within the heart and spreads its influence all over the body of the embodied living entities. When the soul is purified from the contamination of the 5 kinds of material air, its spiritual influence is exhibited.
So, where is the soul situated? The soul is situated in the heart. And where is it floating? We say, na, when somebody dies, what do we say? Pran nikal gaya unka. We say, no, he stopped breathing. So what is that which is connecting the subtle body with the gross body is this prana, this air, the 5 types of air is prana, apana, vyana, samana and udana. So these 5 kind of air is the one which is controlling our bodily function. So, and the soul, and the Mundaka Upanishad says that where is the soul situated? In the heart. And even the medical practitioners, they also agree that the seat of all energy is the heart. Heart is the seat of all the energy that is coming out. So here we can see that there is some similarity. Now we'll see about the functions of the air in the body. We saw about the 5 types of air, right? So what is the function of these 5 types of air? Prana air, it is located in the chest. Can you see this? Prana air, in which part of the body it is located? And what is its function? It governs the intake, inspiration, propulsion, and forward momentum. And then we have apana air, which is located in our pelvis area. And what is the function of this apana air? It governs elimination, downward and outward movement. So by proper functioning of the apana air, you will have proper elimination of things from your body. And samana. Samana is located in the navel area and it governs assimilation, discernment, inner absorption and consolidation. And then we have udhana air, which is located in the throat area. And this governs growth, speech, expression, ascension and upward movement. And then we have vyana, which is located all over the body. And that governs the circulation on all levels, expansiveness and pervasiveness. So these are the functions of the 5 types of air which is present in our body, which is maintaining our bodily function. And where is the soul located? The soul is floating on these 5 types of air. So this is the pranic body. Can you see this?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yeah. So these are the 5 types of air which is basically governing our bodily functions. So by doing yoga system, what do? We try to purify these 5 types of air. So what is the purpose of Hatha Yoga? Hatha Yoga system is meant for controlling the 5 kinds of air encircling the pure soul by different kinds of sitting postures. Not for any material profit, but for the liberation of the minute soul from the entanglement of the material atmosphere. So the purpose of Hatha Yoga system is, it is a process, it is a mechanical process of purifying the air so that the soul gets pure, liberated from the contamination of the air. But today, why do people do yoga? What is the purpose of yoga? You must be having many friends who are doing yoga. And if you ask them what is the purpose of the yoga, what will they say? Or even if you have inquired for any yoga uh, classes or coaching, what do they say? What is the purpose of yoga? They say.
For the mind and body,
Mm-hmm.
To stay fit.
Mm. But Mataji, we just saw the mind is also material. It is a subtle body. The subtle body is also material, right? Just we cannot see the mind, we cannot see the intelligence, but we cannot see the ego. But can't we feel?
yes.
So it is a subtle body that is also material. So today, the yoga system, yoga means to connect ourselves with the Supreme Lord. That is called yoga. The very word yoga means to connect ourselves with the Supreme Lord. So, but today, the very yoga purpose is only talking about the material things. Like how can we just, make our mind little fresh? How can we energize our body? For what? So that we can enjoy our senses even better. Why do people go for yoga? So that they have more energy and their mind calms down so that they can enjoy more with their mind and senses. But actually, where should we engage our mind and senses? We, the living entity, what is our real position? We are all the
We
eternal
are
servants of
servants of
Krishna. So
Krishna.
what is the duty of a servant?
To serve
It's to
Krishna.
serve the master, right?
Yes.
So being the eternal servant of Krishna, whom we should serve? We should serve Krishna. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktiruchyate. When you're serving the master of senses Rishikesha, what happens? We come out of all sort of designations like I am this body, I am a woman, I am an Indian, I am this, I am that, and all sort of designation, and purify ourselves. Tat paratvena nirmalam. We get purified by serving the Rishikesha. But today, the Hatha Yoga system, the Patanjali system, was previously given to mechanically to purify the air, and it is a mechanical process to come out of the material entanglement. However, why is it not so appropriate in today's age particularly? It's a good process, it's a mechanical process. But what is the hindrance? So if you want to do such a high level yoga, what do you need? You need a really very quiet atmosphere, right? And you might have to disentangle yourself from your family. You may not be able to, you might have to go somewhere to Himalayas or Rishikesh like that and do. And it will take many, many years to attain perfection. In Satya Yuga, the perfection was through meditation. Why? Because how long people were living in Satya Yuga? People were living for 100,000 of years. Have anyone heard the story of Valmiki? According to that, it is said that Valmiki meditated for 60,000 years. Today, are we having that much of lifespan? Therefore, in Kali Yuga, what is the Yuga Dharma? It's chanting the holy name of the Lord. That is the Yuga Dharma. And you can chant anywhere, any place, anytime. And by doing that, we attain the same benefits of doing this Hatha Yoga system of purifying ourselves. However, this process is, the Bhakti Yoga is much easier. And there are Ashtanga Yoga. This Hatha Yoga system has eightfold yoga system. Maybe if some of you who are taking notes and who are interested can note down. Yama. Ashtanga means eightfold process. The first thing is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. So especially in the last three stages of Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi, in Dharana stage, one is able to hold. And in Dhyana stage, one is able to meditate. And in Samadhi stage, one is able to absorb oneself. That is Samadhi. So in the Dharana stage, when you're chanting the holy name, one can hold the holy name for 13 seconds. If you're able to hold the holy name for 13 seconds without any distractions or deviation, that means you have attained the stage of Dharana. And if you are able to observe for 144 seconds, then it is Dhyana. For 144 seconds, if you are able to meditate on the holy name, then it is Dhyana. And Samadhi is around 25 minutes and 38 seconds. You don't even know where you are. You are completely away. You just do not know anything that around you and you're completely absorbed. And that stage is called Samadhi. Complete absorption in the holy name. Okay. So as we said, this Hatha Yoga system of this eightfold process, the mechanical process is not very suitable. Therefore, what process we follow? We follow the process of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And this Hare Krishna Mahamantra acts in the same way, but much faster and easier way than this Hatha Yoga system. And we saw the first two processes, Yama and Niyama. Like if one is already studying in the 5th grade, what does that mean? They should have done the previous grades like pre-primary and first, second, third, fourth. So you cannot come to the Dharana stage without pausing through the initial stage of Yama and Niyama. So Yama means don'ts. So some of the don'ts that we should not do, like being truthful, not cheating, not accumulating too much of wealth, not stealing, and not being violent. These are all called as Yama, means following some don'ts. And Niyama means some do's. What are some of the do's? To maintain the clean body. We bath every day, twice to maintain our body clean. And clean speech, clean mind. How do we purify our wealth? By giving charity. How do we purify our mind? By chanting. So these are all some of the Niyama process, some of the do's, and we have to follow certain do's and certain don'ts. So some people say in today's world, in names of spirituality, they say that do whatever you want, just be spiritual. How can it be possible? For example, if a child is appearing for an examination, can the teacher say, do whatever you want, just come and do the exam? Will the child be able to pass the exam without proper studying and proper techniques of studying and giving some amount of time towards it? Will it be possible?
No, Mataji, the effort need to be there.
So even if this is applicable in the material world to obtain something, how can one go back home, back to Godhead and attain perfection by doing whatever you want, eat whatever you want, drink whatever you want, do whatever you want, just be spiritual? How can that be possible? Not possible, right? Therefore, this yama niyama is very important, and yoga, to attain this stage yama niyama, one has to follow the complete celibacy. So, which is again very impossible in this Kali Yuga. So, with all these things that is there, this Hatha Yoga system is especially not very suitable for this yoga. And on top of it, today the Yoga Society is only talking about mind and body. They do not talk anything about liberation. Do anybody talk, Mataji? Anybody has attended any yoga classes?
No, Mataji, I mean, it's just so like
No,
from
I'm
my
just asking you just for the thing. If you have attended any, I mean, I have attended few yoga classes, before even coming in Krishna consciousness. So they only talk about, how can you make your body flexible? How can you just you can, your mind can be relaxed. They do not talk anything about liberation or anything. They don't even talk about the God. So how
no,
can that
yeah.
be a yoga system, right?
Yeah, they won't talk about God, Mataji, but at least what from my personal experience, what I felt is like
Mhm.
it's more of like we'll be able to control our senses, we'll be able to meditate, we can have a very calm mind, and then
Mhm.
that is actually helping in all this like spiritual journey also.
Yeah. See, as long as you are chanting the holy name, if chanting the holy name, by doing this, if chanting is helpful, then it is good. You're just doing the process without chanting the holy name, without having the goal of life as Krishna. And then what way this is helpful?
No, I mean whatever we do, we need to keep Krishna as the center and then do.
Exactly. For devotees, yes, you can do yoga, which will help you to have a better health, better things, so that you can serve Krishna. I'm talking about the general population who are just going to yoga without knowing the purpose. What is the use of that? That is just a body gymnastics, right? Even when Prabhupada went in West, he saw so many yoga societies. From the East, they were teaching yoga, and Prabhupada said, this is just a body gymnastic. Therefore, Prabhupada gave Mahamantra. And whatever the stage, which is very difficult today to attain Samadhi through the Hatha Yoga system, but the devotees are attaining the system by just chanting the Mahamantra. They are able to attain the highest stage. So you can do yoga as long as that is helping you to serve Krishna better. But without Krishna, without knowing the goal, is yoga, the word yoga itself is not correct. You may sometimes say, some body exercise, some gymnastic class or some exercise class. So we should not use the word yoga. Yoga is only the link towards the Supreme Lord. That very word yoga means linking towards the God. Okay. So what is the difference between the soul and the super soul? So the constitution of the atomic soul is admitted in all Vedic literature, and it is also actually felt in the practical experience of any sane man. Only the insane man can think the atomic soul as all-pervading Vishnu Tattva. As we saw, what does a Mayavadi think? As long as we are in this body, we are the individuals. Once you get liberated, you become God. Having known our position to be very, very small, can we ever think that we can become a God? Our position is really, really small. How can we become a God? No, right? We are always part and parcel of the God. Mamaivamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana manashishtani indriyani prakritistani karshati. Krishna says that we are all eternally his part and parcel. Manashashtani Indriyani. But because of our mind and uncontrolled senses, we are struggling. So the influence of the atomic soul can be spread all over a particular body. Soul is beyond the perception of science. Lekha Mataji, would you like to read this?
Yeah, yes, Mataji, just a minute. Yeah. Soul is beyond perception of science. According to the Mundaka Upanishad, this atomic soul is situated in the heart of every living entity, and because the measurement of the atomic soul is beyond the power of appreciation of the material scientists, some of them assert foolishly that there is no soul. The individual atomic soul is definitely there in the heart along with the supersoul. And thus, all energies of bodily movement are emanating from this part of the body. The corpuscles, which carry the oxygen from the lungs, gather energy from the soul.
Continue, Mataji.
When the soul passes away from this position, the activity of the blood generating fusion ceases. Medical science ceases. Medical science accepts the importance of the red corpuscles, but it cannot ascertain that the source of the energy is the soul. Medical science, however, does admit that the heart is the seat of all energies of the body.
We can see that. So it is only the oxygen that is generated from the body. But how is this RBC generated? They cannot ascertain. Whereas, although they understand the importance, but they cannot ascertain where is the energy coming from. Although one point they agree that the heart is the seat of all energies. And according to Mundaka Upanishad, we saw that where is the soul located? The soul is located in the heart. Yeah. And there are two souls. One is individual soul, and other is super soul, Atma and Paramatma. We should never think that we are the God. So it is individual atomic soul is definitely there in the heart along with the super soul, like Atma and Paramatma. And thus all the energies of bodily movements are from this particular part. So now analogy to compare the soul and super soul. How do we know the difference between the soul and the super soul? Mataji, continue.
Such atomic particles of the spirit whole are compared to the sunshine molecules. In the sunshine, there are innumerable radiant molecules. Similarly, the fragmental parts of the Supreme Lord are atomic sparks of the rays of the Supreme Lord, called by the name Prabha or superior energy.
So as we know, the sun and the sunshine. Sun is one, but sunshine is pervading all over. So, and we see a lot of molecules of the sun rays, right? So sun is the super soul and the sun rays is the individual jivas. The fragmental part of the Supreme Lord. We are all just the sparks. We just saw what is the size of our real self. 1 by 10,000 time of the tip of the hair. So like we can see, in sun rays, there are small molecules and that is us. And super soul Paramatma is the sun. So as everybody is able to perceive the sun, similarly, Paramatma is present in everyone's soul, like how the sun is present in one place and everybody feels the sun is on top of my head. So similarly, Paramatma is there in each and every living entity along with the Atma. So Bhagavad Gita describes the science of the soul. Mataji, continue.
Such atomic particles of the spirit whole are compared to the sunshine molecules. And in the sunshine, there are innumerable, this one I read, no, Matsi?
Innumerable radiant molecules.
Innumerable radiant molecules. Similarly, the fragmental parts of the Supreme Lord are atomic sparks of the rays of the Supreme Lord, called by the name Prabha or superior energy. So,
okay. Yes, Mataji. So that is the thing. So we can understand that, like how we understand the difference between the sun and the sunshine. So that is the soul and the super soul and the soul. Okay. So, and all the living entities are of superior energy. The non-living entity is the inferior energy, matter and the spirit, para and apara. For example, there is car. It is composed of matter. Can the car go without a driver?
No, not possible.
So we need a driver to drive the car. Therefore, it is a superior energies. So superior energy is the one which can manipulate the inferior energy. So we, the living entities, are the superior energy, whereas the matter is the inferior energy. And we are all the fragmental parts of the Supreme Lord. We are all part and parcel of the Lord, but we are not the Lord himself. Okay, we'll just do a small discussion on this verse. So we saw the nature of the soul. What is the nature of the soul? The soul is all
Eternal.
pervading, pervading throughout the body. And what is the symptom of the soul? It's consciousness. Consciousness. How do we know that? If because there is consciousness, then there is soul is there. If there is no consciousness, that means there is no soul. A body minus consciousness is a dead body. Correct? So symptom of the soul is seen through the consciousness. And what is the signs of the size of the soul?
1 by
10,000 time of the tip of the hair. And what is the Vedic science versus modern science on the soul? Vedic science also says that the soul is located in the heart, whereas the modern science also admits that heart is the seat of all energies.
Energy, yeah.
At least in that way, the heart is glorified. Without heart, the energy is not generated. Right? And never mistake atomic soul to be all-pervading Vishnu Tattva. We saw that we are Anu and Bhagavan is Vibhu. We cannot think that we are the Vishnu Tattva. So there are 3 Tattvas. Okay, Vishnu Tattva, Jiva Tattva, and Jada Tattva. I mean, basically speaking, there are 5, but we can at least think Vishnu Tattva is all the Vishnu deities. And the Jiva Tattva is we, and Jada Tattva is the matter. So Jiva Tattva, even Brahmaji, he is also a Jiva. He is not Vishnu, but he is having the highest responsibility. Like we are also the citizen, the Prime Minister is also the citizen. But are we in the same position?
No, we cannot.
We are in different position because he has greater responsibility. So he is but he is also a citizen. Similarly, all the devatas, they are also jivas, but they are all having a high position to maintain this material universe, to maintain these affairs. Krishna has given them greater responsibilities, but they are also jivas. And then we have the Jada Tattva, the matter. So, for example, if you are hitting a chair, will the chair get any pain?
No.
It will, because it is a matter, right? So that is the difference between the Jiva Tattva and Jada Tattva. And Jiva Tattva is superior energy and Jada Tattva is inferior energy. And analogy to compare the soul and super soul, what is the analogy we saw?
The car and
no, soul and super soul, Mataji. Sun
the
and
sunshine
the sun
and
sun rays. Yeah. So sun is the Paramatma and sun rays is the Atma, we the Jivas. So that is the difference between the super soul and the soul, like the sun and the sun rays. And Hatha Yoga system, what does the Hatha Yoga system does? It mechanically purifies the air so that the soul can get liberated from the material contamination. So it is a mechanical process for the purification of the soul. But what we discussed in today's classes, it is not very conducive in today's world because of the environment that we are living. We don't live for long, first of all. And second thing is, we cannot retire ourselves and go and sit in a place like Himalayas and Rishikesh, right? What is the use? Bhakti Yoga. We are all having families. We are all maintaining or taking care of the family. In spite of that, we are able to do Bhakti. You can chant even while going in the train. But can you do meditation in the train?
No.
Can you do Hatha Yoga in the train? Because each and every sound will disturb you. Here, because you are focusing on the chanting the holy name, you can direct your mind towards the holy name. But in that, will you be able to still your mind with so much of disturbance? And even in the 6th chapter, we will see that when Krishna is talking about the Ashtanga Yoga, Hatha Yoga system, Arjuna negated. He said, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. He said that the mind is very, very chanchal, very difficult to control. And Arjuna says, I can control the wind, but I cannot control the mind.
Mind.
So if it is very difficult, even for Arjuna, how can it be easy for us? Arjuna is a devotee and a friend of Krishna and lived in Dwapar Yuga. And we are living in Kali Yuga. And we have no position like Arjuna. In spite of that, how can we think that this yoga system can help us when it could not even help very great devotees like Arjuna? So this is the this thing of this verse. I hope you could understand this verse. It was a little
Yes,
longer, little more to understand because there are a lot of concepts here to understand. I hope you were able to understand today's sloka.
So, Mataji, you will share the recording also in the group,
Yes,
right?
yes, Mataji, I will share. Okay.
Yeah,
There
I
are a
think there are
lot
so
of
many
techniques
points.
because the prana, the 5 functions of the air, the 3 stages, and what is the death. So, I mean, every sloka of Bhagavad Gita has so much to, observe and to understand. So, we try to take the most important points and present. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, Prabhupada said in his lecture, just the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, every day he was giving class for 4 to 5 hours for 3 months, only to discuss the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. For 3 months, he could discuss. So, this knowledge of Shastras is very vast and one can go deep and deeper in that. But we are trying to go with the important points, at least which will be helpful to understand the sloka. Okay, any questions or any comments?
Mataji, what is moksha? Is it going back to Godhead?
Yes,
Uh,
Prabhuji, there are actually 5 types of liberation. So, one type of liberation is Sayujya, which is like becoming one with the Lord. And apart from that, we have like Sarupya, where you can get the same form as that of the Lord, where you go to planets like Vaikuntha and you are getting the same form as the Lord. And Samipya, where you're living very close to the God. Wherever
Okay.
Krishna is, like that you live very close. And Salokya, you're living in the same planet like where Krishna is living. So these are all the types of liberation. So liberation is just not one type. Generally, Mayavadis think that liberation means come out of the body and become one with the God and you also become the God. No, that is not the liberation. Liberation means serving Krishna eternally. That's all.
Okay.
Even by living in this world, if we are we can be in a liberated state by serving Krishna.
Okay.
Mainly liberation means liberation from our material desires and senses.
Desires.
That is the main liberation. A devotee does not even think that he wants to get liberated and he wants to go to Vaikuntha. A devotee only prays that he wants to serve Krishna life after life. Mama Janmani Janmani. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. Life after life, let me serve your lotus feet. So liberation is basically liberating yourself from this material entanglement and living a life dedicating every work, whatever you're doing, everything to the Lord. Even in that stage, you get the liberation. Okay, Prabhuji. Maybe I will share some of the previous classes where we exclusively spoke on these topics, the 5 types of liberation. Let me try to look for it and share it to you so that you can go through the recording because we spoke in detail in that.
Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. We'll do the Narsimha Pranam Mantra. sorry. Namaste Narasimhaya Praladaladaine Hiranyakashipurvashaka Shilatankanakalaye Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha Yato Yami Tato Narsimha Bhagi Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha Narsimha Madim Sharanam Prapati Tava Kara Kamala Varena Kam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Narsimhadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Bhakti Shiro Bhakti Vigna Vinashaka Narsimha Bhagwan ki jai Bhakti Shiromani Prahlad Maharaj ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu payevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai. And just one more important point, just I would like to remind. So the main thing is, as long as we have the subtle body, the intelligence, mind and false ego, that will take us to another body. We will keep transmigrating from one body to another when we carry the subtle body. So we have to purify our mind, intelligence and false ego. The purification process that we are following is Bhakti Yoga, by chanting the holy names of the Lord and by offering our senses in serving the senses of Krishna. Whatever you do, you can do in the service of Krishna. We all cook, we all eat. But before we eat, whatever we cook, can we offer it to Krishna and eat? Is it difficult?
No.
Is it difficult? It is not difficult. Just whatever you do it, but do it keeping Krishna in the center. By doing so, you can, by purifying your mind and intelligence, the real intelligence is knowing that we are not this body, we are the soul, and we are all the eternal servants of Krishna. So by having this intelligence, we can do our work accordingly. So any work that we are doing which is not favorable for Krishna consciousness, that particular work has to be rejected. Okay. So these are certain things that we should try to do. Okay. So that is the main thing, transmigration. During transmigration, the subtle body is the one which carries our soul from one body to another. Prabhuji, is it clear to you now?
Yes, Mataji.
So we need to purify our mind, intelligence, and our false ego.
Yeah.
Then we will be leaving the gross body, and subtle body also can be left. And then we will be our real self as a soul, which is Anandamayo Vyasa, full of bliss, knowledge. That is the nature of the soul. So even now, if you are able to understand, even if you are able to 1% of the soul, if you are able to realize that, we will be very, very happy.
Okay.
The distress is because we are identifying ourselves with the body. That is why we are feeling distressful, because of our bodily conception of the life. As I said, there are so many sannyasis who are undergoing lot of health issues. So in spite of that, they are going on and on and on and preaching. So by which we can understand that it is just not the body, pleasure and pain which decides our advancement in devotion. Our advancement in devotion has nothing to do. All we need to do is to dedicate our kaya, vacha and manasa, our body, our mind towards the, and our speech towards the Lord. Okay, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Please, every day, my humble request to each and every one of you to at least read the Shastras for 15 minutes every day. And today also it was quite a big purport. So please read it again once or twice and try to understand if I was able to understand all the points and make the notes. When you do that, then this knowledge of Gita will stay with you forever. Okay, take just some little bit additional efforts for your comprehension of these slokas. Okay, because there are so much of technicalities which was there in today's sloka, right? So
Yes,
it
ma'am.
needs a little bit of revision. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Uh,